What's up guys, this is the Honest Outlaw, and today I'm going to do a video that I hope clears up some of the questions that not only I have, but lots of the gun community has. And it seems like, you know, people are on two sides. They're either on the Glock 17 side, this is a Gen 5 Glock 17 MOS, or they're on the Glock 45 Glock 19X side. And this has started a kind of a divide since the Glock 19X came out. There is a lot of opinions on either camp on which gun is going to be better for you for several situations. Basically what these two guns are, they're very similar. These are kitted out a little bit. They both have Talon grips, they both have stock triggers, and they both have night sights. This came directly from the factory, and these I replaced, but they do come from the factory. You can buy Ameriglo night sights on your Glock. So these are basically stock other than the Talon grips, and obviously the gold Agency Arms barrel that I have in here, but that's not gonna change function or speed or accuracy really in any negligible way. So it's not gonna be a big deal. Both of these are essentially stock. So we are gonna put these two head to head to find out whether or not the opinions on either camp are actually correct. Now, before I get into it, I want to say some of those opinions. The Glock 19X G45 camp is going to say that this gun draws faster from the holster because it has a shorter barrel, easier to use in CQB, really tight in distances, easier to manipulate, like if somebody's on top of you, punching in the face, punching in the dick, that kind of thing. So we're going to test that a little bit off the draw, and they're also going to say that because it's got a lower mass on the slide, there's less slide, it's going to recoil less and it's going to be faster, okay? So we're going to test that. People in this camp say because the slide is longer, it's going to have more weight up front and it's going to recoil softer. It's also going to be more accurate because you're going to have a slightly longer sight radius than you would with the Glock 45. And because of those things, we're going to go out today and we're going to run these two in the same exact drills over and over again on the timer and see which one does better from a myriad of distances, whether that be from 1 yard all the way out to 50 yards. So we're going to get the embarrassing stuff out of the way first. I want to do a little CQB type draw from retention and fire, and the only target I really have to do that effectively right now, because it's cold and everything's covered in mud and that kind of thing, is this tiny little yellow person here. So try to use your imagination and assume that I'm being mugged or attacked by a tiny little yellow person. And if that were the fact, and he did have arms, and he was armed with either a knife or a firearm, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up my guard here like this, pull my handgun from retention, place in the appropriate spot, fire 2 rounds into what would be a normal person's pelvis. But the idea is to try to replicate the Glock 45 coming out of the holster quicker than the Glock 17 to retention. And then after that, we'll go further away and we'll do an actual draw. But I think most people, when they're talking about a faster draw with a Glock 45, they're talking about from retention. And with the gear I have outside today, this is the best I can do. Also, I want to mention that to eliminate some variables, normally I would draw like this, come down, get the gun, pull it out and get in action. I'm going to have my hand on the gun to eliminate any time variables from me personally, and we'll just work on the gun coming out of the holster, since that is what the gun is supposed to be better at.
$106. 102. 108.
Grouping really well. Right in his dick root. Now we're doing the Glock 17.
All right. .9. 108. 104.
Weirdly not as good of a grouping, but I am going about the same speed.
Yeah, you are.
All right. Flip-flop the guns, that way none have more of an advantage. If I were to do the Glock 17 second in every single drill, I would just get better at the drill, and then that would kind of offset the results. So this time we're gonna go Glock 17 first, and we're gonna hit 2 rounds on each one of those targets, And those are 1/3 IPSC targets, so they're just the vital area. We're at 10 yards here, and I'm gonna do it from the draw. Whenever you hit the beeper, we'll go.
$161.
Okay.
$214.
Okay. Need to get some more ammo.
Am I starting?
Yeah.
$219.
Okay, now we'll try the Glock 45. Yep.
$222. $207. $197.
All right, seems pretty similar to me, but we'll crunch the numbers. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a bill drill on that 1/3 IPSC target at 25 yards. Again, that simulates just the vitals of the chest, so it's kind of a small target to hit, but that's what you wanna hit. So at 25 yards, we're gonna do a bill drill, basically from the low ready. I'm gonna put 6 rounds on that target as quickly as I can, and between the two of them, we'll see which one comes up a little bit faster. And we'll start with the Glock 45.
$431.
Missed a few there.
$505.
Ready?
$392.
All right, those misses on that second one cost me. Some of that is the gun, some of that is the less sight radius I'm seeing, but a lot of it is the fact that my hands are really cold because it's December in Iowa and I'm shooting with no gloves on. So, with the Glock 17 Gen 5. Misses there too.
$417.
Try one more time.
$349.
Yeah, I didn't get the count right there.
You did 6.
What?
You did 6.
Did I?
Yeah.
It was just fast?
Yeah, I counted it.
Okay. Yep. Try one more.
$362.
Okay, so it seems to be a little bit faster, at least it feels a little bit faster. So now we're at 50 here, and I've decided we're gonna go from the draw, 5 rounds on the full-size IPSC target on the far right there. So I'm gonna have to kind of shoot between the barrel and the yellow target, which isn't a big deal, but 50 yards from the draw, we'll see how well either gun does. We'll do it 3 times in a row, and then again, average the times.
Ready?
Yep.
$544. Ready?
Yep.
$541.
Keep missing that first shot.
Is that a long distance? Ready?
Yep.
$494.
5 rounds, 50 yards, Glock 45.
All right. Seven, 6, 6. Ready?
Yep.
Nine, 2, 2.
A little bit slower, clearly. Shit, well, I'm out of ammo.
9, 5, 5.
All right, so what does that tell me about the Glock 45 versus the Glock 17? Well, I can tell you that honestly, I did feel like the 45 was a little bit faster out of the holster. Whether it showed that in the retention tests, I'm not really sure, but especially when I kept drawing it over and over and over again, like at the 50-yard line, I could tell that the Glock 45 came out of the holster much quicker. At least I felt like it came out quick enough to be noticeable. So much so that I almost overran my target a little bit and I had to bring the gun back down, which might attribute some of the accuracy problems that I was having with the Glock 45 at speed. Now that's important to say because between the two of them, I don't think I would notice a distinguished difference at distance unless you put a timer on it. And once you put a timer on it, then everything kind of goes out the window, your trigger control, everything, you kind of just do what you naturally do. And that extra sight radius keeping me in check with the 17 made me feel a little more comfortable shooting at distance than the 45 did. So the time showed that. I did significantly better with the 17 just because it was able to line up the sights that much quicker. The problem with that is how likely are you to engage somebody in self-defense, military, law enforcement, whatever it may be at 50 yards? Pretty unlikely, right? At that point you're reaching for a shotgun or carbine or something. But it does happen somewhere, someday, and in that case the 17 is going to be better. Now is the 45 dramatically better up close? I don't really think so. But another thing you have to consider is why the 45 is becoming so popular with law enforcement. And a lot of that has to do with sitting in a car all day. So if you're running an outside the waistband rig, the shorter slide of the 45 is going to be a little bit more comfortable for you depending on what holster setup you have than something like the 17. So that's something to consider. It's also something to consider if you are worried about carrying appendix or something like that, having the slide of the 17 dig into your junk. That's something to consider as well if you're not worried about the grip. But all in all, they're pretty much the same gun. Almost the same weight, almost the same reliability, same trigger, same everything, except for one has a slightly shorter slide. And may that make you slightly faster off the draw? I don't think it'll make the difference between that and training a little bit more with one or two of these guns. And this might make you a little better at long distance, but is that a real thing to consider? I don't know, because at 25 yards and in, I think you're more than still combat effective with the 45, but if you're gonna make a precision shot, let's say you have to make a headshot, that is a real world thing, a hostage situation, something like that, the 17 is gonna be better. So pick what you like, pick what you want. At the end of the day, they're both Glocks, they're both running great. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.
Okay, now I'm ready.
Can't even see that plate rack. That plate rack is not visible.
Very camouflaged.